The jungle moon of Taraxis 7 was not meant for humans. Its atmosphere burned with copper-thick humidity. Its flora secreted toxins that could dissolve skin, and its apex predator, the Rykor species, had ruled its crimson canopies for 10 million years. Dr. Mara Voss knew all of this. She also knew that the massive creature bleeding out before her research station had approximately 4 minutes to live. The Rykor stood nearly 3 meters tall, its obsidian scales gleaming with bioluminescent patterns that pulsed weakly. 6 eyes, arranged in a hexagonal pattern, fixed on Mara with an intelligence that made her breath catch. Behind the dying predator, 2 small forms mewled, cubs no larger than house cats, their scales still soft and pearl gray. "I can't save you," Mara whispered, her translator device rendering her words into the subsonic frequencies the Rykor understood. "The wound is too deep." The creature, later she would learn its name was Rykor, like its species, a tradition of claiming one's heritage as identity, made a sound like grinding stone. Its massive clawed hand gestured toward the cubs, then to Mara, then pressed against its own chest where 3 hearts were failing in sequence. The message was unmistakable. "You want me to take them?" Mara's voice cracked. "I'm a xenobiologist, not a nursery. I study you, I don't—" Rykor's third eye, the one that legend said could see truth itself, opened fully. It stared into Mara with an intensity that transcended species. Then the great predator collapsed, its bioluminescence fading to black. The cubs screamed. For 3 days Mara didn't sleep. The cubs, she named them Nova and Ember for the colors of their emerging scale patterns, refused the synthesized nutrition paste her station could produce. They clawed at the reinforced walls, their infant talons already capable of scoring the titanium alloy. They hissed at her approach, tiny fangs dripping with venom that could paralyze a grown human. On the 4th day, Mara sat on the floor of the containment area, exhausted beyond reason, and began to sing. It was an old Earth lullaby, something her grandmother had sung in a language half forgotten. The melody wound through the humid air, and the cub's hexagonal eyes turned toward her, curious. She sang, and slowly, carefully, she reached into her pack and pulled out a ration bar. Not for them, for herself. She bit into it, chewed, swallowed. The cubs watched, their predatory instincts analyzing every movement. Then Mara did something that would have horrified every xenobiological protocol in the Galactic Collective. She took another ration bar, broke it apart, and placed pieces on the floor between her and the cubs. "You're not going to trust me if I just shove food at you," she murmured. "You need to choose." Nova approached first, low to the ground, scales rippling with threat displays. The cubs sniffed the food, recoiled, then looked at Mara. She took another bite of her own ration, maintaining eye contact with all 6 of the cubs' eyes, something that should have been impossible. But Mara had spent years studying predator psychology. Nova ate, Ember followed minutes later. What Mara didn't know was that she was being watched. In the crimson canopy above her research station, 30 Rykor elders had gathered. They had witnessed their kin's death, had seen the human's choice, and now they observed with ancient patience. The human did not cage the cubs. She did not sedate them or bind them. Instead, she moved through her station with them following, teaching them which plants were nutritious and which were poisonous. She played with them, her soft human body somehow avoiding their instinctive strikes. When Nova cut her arm with an accidental talon swipe, the human simply bandaged the wound and continued. Most remarkably, she sang to them every night. The Rykor elders had seen many species attempt to interact with their young. The Zerathi had tried to domesticate them. The Kron had tried to militarize them. The Vex had tried to study them with cold, calculating distance. Only the human had tried to love them. 6 months passed. Nova and Ember grew larger, their scales hardening, their bioluminescence brightening. They learned to hunt the native fauna under Mara's guidance, and she learned to read their complex pattern language. They were not pets. They were not subjects. They were family. On the day the Rykor elders finally revealed themselves, Mara stood between the cubs and the massive assembled predators, a small human woman armed with nothing but a data pad and absolute conviction. "You're not taking them," she said simply. The eldest Rykor, a creature so ancient its scales had turned silver, stepped forward. All 18 of its eyes opened, including the 6 that only appeared in moments of profound significance. We do not wish to take them, Dr. Mara Voss. The translator rendered its subsonic speech. We wish to understand. Our kin, the one you call Rakor, was our greatest warrior. In its final moment, it saw something in you that we did not believe possible. What's that? That a human could honor a predator's trust. That strength is not only in fang and claw, but in the choice to protect what cannot protect itself. That perhaps we have been wrong about your species. The elder's bioluminescence pulsed in a pattern Mara's translator identified as profound respect. The cubs may remain with you, if that is their choice. But know this, human. You have done what no species has done in 10 million years. You have earned the Rakor's debt. We do not forget. We do not abandon our debts. Nova and Ember moved to flank Mara, their scales pulsing in synchronization with hers, a pattern of protection, of belonging. The elder tilted its massive head. Tell us, Dr. Voss, how did you know what to do? Mara looked down at the cubs, then back at the assembled predators. Because that's what we do, humans. We're not the strongest or the fastest. We're not the smartest or the most advanced. But we're really, really good at one thing. And what is that? She smiled, placing a hand on each cub's head. We're good at caring. Even when it's hard. Even when it's dangerous. Even when every logical part of our brain says it's impossible. We care anyway. The Rakor elders stood in silence for a long moment. Then, in a display that had not been seen in millennia, they all lowered their heads in unison, a gesture of submission that acknowledged not weakness, but wisdom. In the crimson jungle of Taraxis 7, a new alliance was born, not through conquest or negotiation, but through the simple act of a human woman who chose compassion over fear, and the galaxy would never be quite the same.